In high school, I was involved in everything under the sun. I was in student government, I was in volleyball, newspaper, drama club, French club, a bunch of other things. And I was involved with my youth group as well. And people may have thought, oh, Jackie, you're such a well-rounded person, you're very balanced. But now I look back at myself and I think, actually, I really didn't spend a whole lot of time in prayer with God. That was kind of an afterthought, or if I had time. And when I said yes to God when I was 18 and really decided to live a life for the Lord, and I fell in love with God, I said, you know, if I had a boyfriend who I was in love with, I would totally create time for him. I would spend time, I would go on dates with him, I would spend time on the phone. A lot of times it's like 3 or 4 hours. Or it's spending time with his family. When we're in love with something, we create time for it. And so my question is, are we really in love with God? Look at how much time we spend with God throughout our day and ask the question, do I really love God? Because if I did, He would be the priority. And I would make a space in my life to spend time with Him, to go on a date with God. Sometimes I do that. I say, I'm going to go do a holy hour. I'm going on my date with Jesus. Or I'm going to go to Mass. When I was in college, I was still very involved with things. I was a part-time volleyball coach. I was part-time volunteering at church. And I was a full-time student. But I would make it a priority every day to go to 6:30 a.m. Mass. For me, I said, if I'm in love with God, I want to see Him every day. And especially the Mass is the source and summit of our faith. So I want to receive Jesus in the Eucharist and go visit His house, the church. I want to go visit Him every day. So I did. And a lot of times I invited people with me. And I hate waking up early in the morning. So it was very difficult for me to roll out of bed and then to go to Mass and pay attention. So I would even have my friends, especially my one friend, I'd say, after Mass, I want you to ask me what the gospel was so that I can make sure I'm paying attention. Because when we're in love with things, we will create time and space for them. And I feel like as a disciple, we have to learn how to have balance in our lives. And even balance in the fact of diet and exercise. Our bodies are important too. Our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit. Our soul is important. Are we getting time of prayer in? Are we listening to God's voice? Are we allowing ourselves to be guided by the Holy Spirit? And also our minds. Are we growing intellectually? We aren't just spirit. We're body, spirit, soul, mind, heart, all this stuff. We are human beings who should have balance in our lives. And God should come first. When we die and get to heaven, are we going to say, I really wish I had played more sports? No, I know I'm not. Am I going to say, I really wish I had watched more TV? No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, wow, I wish I had spent more time getting to know God, and I wish I had spent more time in prayer. Because our goal in this life is to be mystics, to be so one with God. And I have another webcast about that, about how to pray all the time without ceasing. But that's the truth, is that we're called to be disciples. And so what does that mean? The root word of the word disciple is discipline, which means that some things we're going to have to say no to. If we haven't prayed all day, you may have to say no to hanging out with friends, or they're like, hey, you want to go out to eat, or do you want to go out to do something? You may have to say no if you have not really created that space for God in your day. But I would say for some people it's easy to do things in the morning, not to get it out of the way, but to say, I'm placing God first in my day, so that God, I'm coming before the Lord to say thank you. And actually that's what we do when we go to the Eucharist, is that we say thank you. But create time, 5-10 minutes. Start with that. If you don't create time in your day now, start with that right now, and then hopefully it'll grow. I know in my own prayer life, it's always been a struggle to find balance, and I feel like that's even a struggle no matter what stage of life you're in. Because especially as you go from college to the real world and you start working, your schedule changes and you have to you rearrange things. And I know for me as a full-time traveling musician, my schedule is so different every day that I always have to find a time to set apart for God. But that's the challenge. The challenge is to find balance in our lives. And we will see that the things that we spend the most time on, that's what we worship. We become what we worship too. And personally, I want to be a disciple. I want to be a Christian, and I want to be like Christ. So I want to spend the most time with Him and become a true disciple, a true Christian. And that is my hope for you as well.